What's up, pluckers and pickers around the world? Welcome to Six String Sit Down. I'm your host, Mitch Wessel. I'm here with fellow funky monk, Jason Brown. Appreciate you coming on the show, Jason, man. I know you're busy gigging and everything. Appreciate you making the time. How were you first started playing, and what lit the spark for you?
I mean, I come from a musical family. Both my mom's side, her father plays some bass in a bluegrass band, and my dad's played guitar his whole life, along with other instruments. Really, where I started was drums. I was a drummer starting, I guess, around 5th grade, and by the time I was joining the jazz bands there, I got interested in the drum set. And so one thing kind of led to another, and eventually I went on the guitar. Probably started taking it serious around the age of like 14 or 15, but it was around me my whole life.
Yeah, what got you into it? Was it just seeing your old man play around the house?
Sure, I mean, that definitely was a big inspiration on me, and it just felt natural that everybody played guitar.
Yeah, do you remember what your first guitar was?
I mean, the first guitar I was always playing was, again, on my dad's hand-me-downs. Ibanez was the first one that I bought for myself, an Ibanez S-Series. It was a shredder, like hair metal,
Rose, everything
guitar,
like that?
Everything, yep. There was a lot to maintain.
Yeah. So I was actually gonna ask you that, because that's a funny question. You know, your brother plays guitar, your dad plays guitar. What was it like growing up in a household full of guitarists?
I mean,
just you guys all in the other room, just constantly turn it up a little bit until no one can take it.
You're surprised how much it was actually like that, because we didn't do a whole lot playing together. It was all, we kind of did our own thing at our own time. But again, there's a ton of musical influence, a lot of music discussion, a lot of listening to albums and discussing different things that influenced us, and so we kind of all shared a lot of the same likes and dislikes now, I guess, because of that.
Awesome, man. Well, in your formative years, do you remember what was some of the things you worked on the most that kind of helped you progress the most as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of like the rock of the age that was going on, like Sublime and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like different things that were popular. The Green Day, Blink-182 is kind of where I started my stuff that you could play. The first riff was like Alien Ant Farm's version of Smooth Criminal, all on one string, just kind of learning down, up, down, up. Eventually kind of moved on to like Ritchie Blackmore, kind of more experienced guitar players. I started to be able to distinguish a really talented guitar player from like a good song.
Right.
And that kind of grew towards like the really talented guitar players after a while.
Nice, man. That's awesome, man. I know me and you both, going to high school together, we were both big 80s hair metal guys.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your favorite?
The most important to my playing at my early years was Nuno Bettencourt, probably.
I just knew you were going to say that. That guy, that's
I was telling
awesome.
You that
we both love Nuno.
We do.
Get the Funk Out. It's probably the greatest solo ever written. One of them, at least.
He-Man, Woman Haters up there. One of the great riffs, too. Pretty all the riffs on that album.
Incredible, man. Yeah, Nuno's the man. So you were into that and stuff. But when did you kind of turn because you really got into funk? Started later on in life. You kind of started to you got bit with the funk bug, man. When did that happen? What got you into that?
I mean, it's just I've always been drawn towards horn bands, jazz bands, fusion. I mean, I'm really open to all kinds of music. And so
Yeah.
I kind of draw as much from saxophone players like John Coltrane as I do a piano player like Herbie Hancock, or all that kind of eventually pushed me towards the James Browns of the world. And had an opportunity to play with a bunch of players. We call ourselves Universal Funk Order, but we try not to let that limit us. We do a lot of different things. Reggae and blues and rock and roll and a little bit of hip hop. Like we try to do a little everything, not just stick to the funk realm.
Right, as long as it's Universal Funk Order, it's all that matters.
As long as it still has a groove and somewhere in there, we're okay with it.
Right. Awesome,
but,
man.
I mean, the funk is super important, and just what I really admire about funk guitar players is just their chops and their attention to syncopation and rhythm. It takes a lot of extra detail that you don't really notice at first until you dive a little deeper.
I was actually going to ask you that, in your opinion, what makes, I feel like you just kind of set up it, what makes a great funk guitarist?
I mean, it really is. It's kind of being clean, having a great tone. Basically, the classic story I always like to repeat that I've heard before is that James Brown's guitarist has to be able to play an E9 chord all night. It's really easy playing an E9 chord, but playing it all night is much more difficult. You got to know a couple different inversions, a couple different rhythms, a couple different ways to keep yourself occupied and like keep it fresh for yourself.
Yeah, some single note lines in there. As long as it's rhythmic, right?
As long as it fits what everybody else is doing. I mean, one of the most important players, really for any genre, but it's definitely true in funk, is big ears. No one's better to play with than somebody who has big ears and is just always listening and paying attention and knows what's going on, will adapt and change what they're doing accordingly.
That's pretty good advice for anybody, really, as a guitarist fitting into a band scenario.
Listen
first. Anybody listen first.
Musicians,
you're just an ingredient to the final stew.
Yeah,
you're not the,
exactly.
You're not the whole thing. You're not so.
Most guys, it's not the Mitch Wessel hour. Like you're a band.
Absolutely.
You're here as a team, and whatever makes the whole thing work is what you're trying to do.
Just trying to make the best music, man.
Yeah.
So Universal Funk Order a couple years back released a great album, and I love that album. This is We Do, right? I'm saying that right?
That's right. Yeah.
This is We Do,
but it's on purpose.
So what was the writing process like that? You guys all get in a room and just jam it out and kind of hit a voice memo, or what do you do?
That's really kind of a varied approach. There's a couple songs on there that I pretty much wrote start to finish. There's a couple songs on there our lead singer basically wrote start to finish. There's also a bunch that it's hodgepodge. We jammed it out. The song started one way, somebody had written it, and then somebody adds a part, or we start playing it live and we feel like this part needs to get extended. Or there's always like a little bit of tweaking. We honestly played together for almost 6-7 years before the album came out. It was probably more like 4 or 5 if I'm doing my math right. But it was quite some time. We went through band changes. New guys came through, completely changed lines or bass parts. So it was really unique, song to song, the process.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, so as far as with all of your experience, what any advice for like a learning guitarist as far as things to work on, stuff like that?
Just stick with what inspires you. Whatever you're inspired by is who you should be trying to emulate and learn from.
Yeah.
Because to me, like the most success you're going to have, like yes, I could talk right now about fundamentals and how super important they are, but really, inspiration is going to be your driving force because that's going to make you stay up late working on your fundamentals to really get it all down. So, really basic, but have fun would be the most important thing. The one thing I'd say that for maybe the more advanced players, it's really tough for musicians is being open to criticism.
Absolutely.
A lot of players take it really personally. It's an art. You work really hard on it, but just be open to hearing things you can do better, and you'll improve.
Yeah, that's with anything in life. Yeah, absolutely, man. So what's on the horizon for UFO?
I think we've got the most talented band we've ever had right now. No offense to any of the old players out there watching, but just the talent level is through the charts on the band right now. So we've got a lot of live shows coming up this summer, and we're talking about putting another album out hopefully in the next couple of years. Awesome,
man. That's great, dude. So, I'm going to finish up with my famous. Well, it's not famous. It's not famous. My favorite question is what I meant to say.
I've been drawing this one.
Yeah.
I still don't know who I'm going to say right now.
So you can pick anybody in the world, man, past, present. Who's on your Mount Rushmore guitar?
Can I pick one for each president instead? And just pick like 44?
Yeah, I wish, man. I always feel like I'm offending so many of my players I love so much.
I know, right? It's more about who's not there. So a couple different ways to answer, of course. I'll just kind of stick to where I started, I guess. I'll definitely put Jeff Beck would be the one guy that no matter who else I say, you could probably talk me out of him because there's so many players I love. But Jeff Beck would be the one that I don't know who could make you talk me off that. I'll take Richie Blackmore from back in the day, from Deep Purple and all his other work he did with Rainbow and solo stuff. Phenomenal player. I loved his classical influence. I'm taking him barely over Randy Rhoads. I'll take Hendrix because it wouldn't be a Mount Rushmore without him. Enough's been said about him, but I respect all of his creativity and everything that he brought, his talent level. I think my last one, I'll take a somewhat current guy for me that I've been listening to a lot in the past couple of years, and an Israeli guitarist named Oz Noy. Very funky, big shredder. I really love his pocket, his tone. I really try and kind of cop a lot of his stuff lately, so I'll just throw him in the mix as a current guy.
Oz is incredible, man. That's a great obscure pick right there, man. He's a really good guitarist.
Yep.
Well, hey, man, appreciate you coming on, Jason.
Anytime, man. Anything for
awesome, dude. Appreciate it.
Yep.